It's perhaps the most famous volcanic eruption in history. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a natural disaster of epic proportions shook the Roman Empire to its core. The story began early one summer day in AD 79. The people of the thriving coastal town of Pompeii noticed a series of small tremors throughout the morning. By early afternoon, something was clearly brewing in a nearby mountain. Vesuvius was about to unleash its fury. A giant cloud of hot gas and molten lava spewed high into the atmosphere. As it cooled, it rained rock and ash. Day turned to night. The people of Pompeii had no idea what was happening. They wondered if perhaps the gods were upset. Some traveled to a nearby bay in hopes of being rescued. Some were too scared to flee. By mid-afternoon, 100 million tons of pumice and ash, more than a foot deep, had fallen on Pompeii. And another more deadly threat was about to strike. Mount Vesuvius now had a huge gaping hole, and suddenly it collapsed, triggering a deadly avalanche, a pyroclastic surge. The mixture of searing hot ash, toxic gas, and rock traveled down the mountain at 150 miles an hour. Its temperature was higher than 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This deadly mix spared Pompeii, but it rolled into the village of Herculaneum a few miles away. Herculaneum was gone within seconds. The surge instantly incinerated everything and everyone in its path. As night fell, the ash continued to rain down on Pompeii, trapping many people in their homes. Roofs collapsed, crushing those inside. Then another series of earthquakes and another deadly pyroclastic flow occurred, this time headed directly for Pompeii. The surge of rolling rock stopped just short of the town, but the cloud of toxic gas kept going. Pompeii's citizens suffocated from carbon dioxide and superheated hydrochloric acid. Finally, another pyroclastic flow buried this town of corpses. In just 18 hours, Vesuvius had spewed out more than 10 billion tons of rock, killing 5,000 people and burying all traces of Pompeii. And it stayed buried until 1594, when a construction crew stumbled on the remains of the city while building an aqueduct. Excavations have continued ever since. That final surge of ash turned Pompeii into a time capsule, preserving temples, shops, and houses exactly as they were in AD 79. The victims' decayed bodies left empty spaces in the hardened ash, which allowed archaeologists to make these ghostly casts. These are the final moments of the men, women, and children whose lives Vesuvius smothered. Vesuvius has had a dozen more eruptions since AD 79, but none has been as deadly. And none has been strong enough to stop a major city from developing in the shadow of Vesuvius. More than 1 million people live in Naples, just 8 miles from the volcano.
We know that Vesuvius is dangerous. Indeed, we expect an eruption very soon, but what you can do?
Scientists say one more big eruption could swallow the metropolis in less than a minute. but they have no idea when.